So basically, there are 22 days left from now. If you count from tomorrow, then on the 23rd day, your exam will be held, right? So, what you are supposed to do? There are a few important things that you must remember. There are questions around certain issues. For example, for how long should we study the newspaper? There are doubts people have regarding till when we should be practicing our mock tests. That is one thing. People have doubts regarding they are wasting a lot of time in current affairs. There are a lot of magazines people need to cover that. I keep emphasizing that you are not supposed to read the magazines, because eventually there will not be like the ratio of benefits. Generally, it is very less. I believe it is close to zero, because eventually anything that is there in the magazines, that was there in the prominent headlines, that has been the analysis of mine. So so right now you have about 22 days. Everybody must be on different stages of preparation. There cannot be one strategy for everybody, but there are certain things that you must all check while you go to study from tomorrow, uh, for the time that is left for all of you. So firstly, you're supposed to do your full length test. You should do them, uh, because the most important thing that everybody lacks is practicing full length mocks. It is very important. So there must be, like, for example, in the first batch, total 33 tests, full length tests, have been done till now. So maybe some of you must have completed all of them, but I believe, because it is really difficult, so most of you must have been like in the stage of completing some of the full length tests. So you should complete one full length test every day. Somebody asked me that it takes around 3 to 4 hours every day, but believe me, it will be beneficial in the end. You should be in the practice of basically at 9 a.m. in the morning. You should be in the practice of sitting in a exam like condition. You should start your stopwatch. Generally, if you are going for the paper in Delhi, um, it differs. If you're going for the paper in Delhi, you can actually carry a stopwatch also, and but generally the analog watches are allowed. So if you are based in Delhi, then I cannot vouch for other places, because it happened once with me in Jaipur that they did not allow me to even carry the watch that I had. And it was the COVID times, and so this happens in regional centers. But in Delhi, if you are there, you can carry a stopwatch, not just an analog watch, a stopwatch. In mains papers, it is allowed at all places. So stopwatch will give you, because when you see the analog watch, what it does is that it gives you an idea that 5 minutes have passed or 7 minutes have passed. But if you carry a stopwatch, then it will benefit you, because it will show you like how many minutes have passed actually. So that will give you a good idea of the time that you have spent in your prelims paper. So there are different ways of doing it right now. If you have about I would recommend that till 18th you can actually practice full length test. If you are able to finish them before that, then it will be really nice. But till 18th, if you're not finished like most of them, then you till 18th you should take one full length test every day. One full length test every day. It will take 3 to 4 hours, but that will be extremely beneficial for all of you. You feel much more in line with the mindset that you are supposed to have on 28th of March, 28th of May, right? So this is something that I wanted to tell you. And also, one important thing is that you start practicing with whatever watch that you are going to carry on that day. So that is also very important, so that you get familiarized with the analog watch or the stopwatch that you're carrying, and you'll be able to understand like how much time has been spent. Time is very important in this exam. If some of you are appearing for the first time in prelims this year, then believe me, there will be about, if there are like 100 people appearing in prelims, I've seen 70 or 80 of them complaining that there was not enough time to go for the second reading, and some of them went for the third reading as well. And when you sit in the prelims paper, like some of you have appeared in it before as well, right from the first question, you should be in a hurry. That is very important, and particularly that is very important in the CSAT paper. So that particular mindset you should now implement in your full length test as well. Right from the question one, you should think that the paper is not going to get completed. Otherwise you will not be able to beat the competition. You should have that mindset, particularly in CSAT. I'm saying you should not be cross checking, rechecking whatever you have, whatever markings you have done. So right from question one, I just want to emphasize that you should be in a hurry when you practice your full length test, and you must practice one full length test every day. And the marks, although if you are getting really good marks, that shows that your preparation is extremely well, but the marks are actually not a marker of like how good your preparation is. I keep saying this to anybody who approaches me on the helpline, that if you are getting more than 100, then it is excellent. You are going to get through this exam in our full length test. If you are getting somewhere between 80 and 100, then you are good enough. But anything less than 80, you need to practice more and revise more. That's the deal, right? Anything more than 100, uh, there are some students who have been getting more than 120 as well, but those kind of students are always there in any batch. But more than 100 in these tests, this is more than enough. But should try and strive to get more than 100. If you get more than 100, then it will be extremely easy for you uh, in prelims, that I can. And if you have done enough number of mocks, if you like do couple of mocks and you get more than 100 in one, that is not the deal. If you are doing it consistently long enough, if you're getting more than 90, some of the papers you're getting more than 100, then you are in a very comfortable position to clear prelims this year. And obviously 10,000 questions, if you're done, you will be in a comfortable position. Most of you have done it, uh, as far as I could see from the notes that were shared. And now let's come to the area where like till till what date you should be covering your newspaper. So see, there are different views regarding it, but nobody is certain about when the paper is set. But this is my analysis, that there will definitely be a couple of questions from the month of May. That happens every time. Generally, those questions are from 5th, 6th till 12th of May. That has been the trend. If the exam is on 28th, then as questions from as recent as like 20 days or 25 days, they are being asked. Last year there was one question asked from as late as I think 15th of May, when the exam was held on 5th of June. So you should not quit your newspaper. I recommend that you should read your newspaper even uh, till 23rd or 24th of um, May. That is because you should be in the groove of reading the newspaper on a daily basis, but you should reduce your time substantially. You can just quickly skim through it, give it 20-30 minutes, and just try and understand the major headlines, because generally the UPS, whatever questions are asked in UPSC prelims, they are from the headlines. So if there is something going on in Russia and Ukraine, then you should give pay heed to it. So that is important. You should at least try and read newspaper thoroughly till 15th. Give 30-40 minutes. After that you can reduce, maybe 15 to 20 minutes you can give. That should be part of your daily routine. And there is no two ways about it, because it also becomes a bit refreshing for you as well. Now like the second important thing, which is about the daily routine. There are certain things that you need to keep in your daily routine, and there are 8 subjects broadly that you are supposed to cover. The first is polity, economy, geography, history of modern India, ancient and medieval, art and culture. These are different subjects. Modern India, ancient, medieval, art and culture, these are humongous and different subjects, as you know, because there are different books for them. So these are obviously different subjects. uh, Science and technology and environment. There is one more subject, which is current affairs, but that should be part of your daily ritual. So these 8 subjects you need to cover. There are 22 days. You can try different permutations and combinations, but I would say try and give less time to geography and economy. Try and cover them in as less time as possible, because these subjects are very short in nature. They can be completed in a day or two, uh, maybe a day or maybe 1.5 days. So that can be done. So remaining time you can maybe utilize for revising your polity. Polity is difficult. Polity is lengthy. Polity is easy but lengthy. So more time you can give for your polity, more time you can give for your history. You can skip science and technology altogether and depend on the questions that have been asked, and the PT 365 of your science and technology. And if you have done your the last four chapters of biology till now, if you have done them, then only repeat them. Otherwise, science and technology is eventually about application of recent technology that have been in news. So as I said in one of the posts, that there are certain areas from where UPSC asks questions, particularly for science and technology. That particular area is in the Indian Express. Since the last couple of years, I've checked it multiple times in multiple exams of UPSC, that they ask questions from certain sections of Indian Express that we do not generally refer to. There is a section called Science and Technology. There is a newspaper about, there is a additional newspaper about life, something related to lifestyle, etc. There the headings, that whatever headings have been mentioned, so last year Miyawaki and Gucci were directly mentioned there. And like there are certain questions, I'll show them. I'll show to you through a video as well. I'm planning to make it, but because of some reasons it got delayed. So basically that particular compilation I'll be providing, so that maybe, just maybe, some questions might, you might find from there directly. So that is being made. I'll be sharing it maybe in the next week, not this week. Maybe in 5 to 7 days it will be created. So from there they will ask current affairs questions. I was saying that there are 8 static subjects that you are supposed to complete, and out of these static subjects, I said that economy and geography are 2 subjects that you can complete very quickly. And secondly, second most important thing, economy and geography are 2 subjects where a lot of conceptual understanding helps you, right? So because in other subjects such as polity, modern India, ancient medieval, art and culture, or environment, so environment also one of those subjects, geography, economy and environment. In For these 3 subjects, whenever you're reading your Shankar IS or your PMF or your Mrunal's economy or your Shriram IS or your NCRTs of geography, what you should be doing, you should be taking short notes that can fit in 2 or 3 pages. And those short notes should only be about the concept that you keep forgetting. For example, if you do not remember what these curves in economy, the Sarkozy curve or the other curves that are there, if you keep forgetting them, then you can make a brief note of these graphs that are there, and that you can mention. For example, if you're reading your economy further, you're confused about what is the difference between GNP and GDP, you can make a very short note of what is the difference between these two. If you are confused about what all is included uh, in your balance of payment, etc., so that you can note down. Those notes will be very, very, very handy for you, because just before prelims, just one day before prelims, you can revise them, and you can revise them like 6 times. So that will, at least that will give you one thing, that will give you a confidence that you have now revised whatever concepts you keep forgetting, that you should do also do for geography. So for example, there is a chapter on soils. If you are not able to remember that, like which soil is found in which area, there is a very important chapter related to agriculture. There will definitely be a question from it. So they generally ask questions related to, like from the agriculture chapter, what kind of soil is needed for this crop, what kind of environment is needed for this crop, etc. So these particular things, if you find them difficult to remember, you can note them down. If you find difficult to remember what is a jet stream, you can note it down. If you find it difficult, like out of Bangula and Hourglass, which is cold and which is hot current, ocean currents, if you are reading, then you can note them down. So these short notes you should prepare for economy, geography, and science, and economy, geography, and environment only. So these things you must do while you're doing your final revisions for these subjects, and note them down. And do not like uh, so you're not supposed to note everything down. Just 2 3 pages, in 2 3 pages you need to write down, so that that will make you more active, and and these subjects will take less time also. So maybe the amount of time that you have, you can give for note making up from these, right? So now, so these are the subjects. Now is the now polity, modern India, ancient medieval, art and culture. And so these subjects remain. So these are subjects which are, and science and technology, as I said, science and technology, you do not need to study anything separately for it. The questions that you have done, the newspaper that you have done, and we try and identify. And if you like, if you've done the full length, you will be able to identify like what kind of applications are there for generative AI and all these subjects that are prominently in news, right? So these static subjects are remaining: polity, ancient medieval, art and culture, and history of modern India. Now the thing is, from modern India, generally what people do is that, because of the recent trend, people have been skipping the initial chapters of modern India. So for example, the Maratha wars, and how the wars between French and English, and then the Sikh wars, and so on and so forth, the regional states, etc., the princely states, etc., and the initial time of the East India Company in India. So from there they have been asking more questions. There has been a recent, like, very clear trend. They used to ask more questions from 1940 to 1947 before, like 2 to 3 years before. Now they are asking more questions from there. So while you're reading your modern India, focus on whatever happened when you're while you're reading your modern or reading your NCRT. Focus on whatever happened between 1740 to 17 to 1840 as well. Enough focus should be given on them because you have read enough number of times the second half of the national movement part of modern Indian history. For ancient and medieval, so there can be different sources for everybody. Some of you must have referred to um, the Tamil Nadu NCRT, some of you must have referred to the new NCRT, some of you must have referred to the old NCRT. So all kinds of, like, different ways of doing ancient and medieval. Some of you must have referred to some other books such as Punam Dalal Daya, or there are some other good books which are available. There is no like, all these books are really good. There is no two ways about it. But I would recommend that you please go through the tables that are given in the Lucent book. From there, generally, you get a very good summed up idea of all the tables that are given for ancient and medieval. You will not be able to memorize everything, that is true. Some of you would be, because you have done, like, enough revision. So what you are supposed to do for them, you try and build some sort of mnemonics for them, or so that factual information will actually help you to eliminate those one or two extra questions. So while you're doing anything, just try and, because the Lucent summaries. So Lucent, what is the book Lucent important for? Lucent is the best possible summary for history in particular of old NCRTs. So for the old NCRTs used to cover a lot of syllabus. So it is the best possible summary. Nobody can make better notes of the old NCRTs than what this Lucent guy has done. It is only famous for that particular subject only, and that those notes are really good, particularly for ancient and medieval, right? So you need to read those tables. Make sure that you read those tables. Art and culture, ancient, medieval, modern India, and polity. Give enough time for their revision, particularly because these are based on facts, and not much elimination you can do if you know good etymology. Uh, so try and identify, like, the basic word for any keyword that is asked. For example, if they are asking something related to phanam, then you must understand that na is a word which is the base for lot of things which are money. So that from there you can deduct. So if you can, like, try and identify some sort of etymology for that, that will be fine. Otherwise, for polity, you are not supposed to make notes of Lakshmikant. Do not make that mistake. But remember that there are tables in polity. There are extremely important tables on polity. If you just do the tables in polity, for example, the emergency part, for example, if we talk about from where India's constitution has been taken in the first chapter of Lakshmikant. So for all these subjects, for polity in particular, the tables are extremely important when you revise for the last time, one last time. So polity, modern India, and all these subjects you should revise at least twice from now. And when you revise for the last time, at least you should do the tables of polity, or particularly of Lakshmikant, right? There is one important chapter in Indian Constitution at work. If you have not referred to it, this is just a 10-page chapter. And, like, I've seen in the last 3-4 years, we have made questions from it as well in the modules, in the 10,000 questions program. But if you want to, if you have more time, then you can refer to it. Just a 10-page chapter called Freedom. So they ask questions related to liberty in different ways. They ask questions related to law and liberty in different ways. So that particular chapter is extremely important because it is about Article 21, and they ask a lot of questions from Article 21, right? So now we have talked about how you should be focusing on your different static subjects that are there, 18 total. Now remain the other things, the miscellaneous part, of which mapping forms a very important part. Mapping is extremely important. It will make a difference between, like, if you're getting somewhere around, obviously if you have done a lot of practice, then you will be getting 100 to 105 or something. But if you do mapping, it will allow you to cross 120 and 130, which is good because it will give you more confidence after prelims is over, and when you match the answer key. Mapping is extremely important, so you should do mapping every day. So in the previous sessions as well, I told you that you should keep your atlas with you, and you should keep looking at the atlas over and over again so that you have a pictorial memory of that atlas. Maybe you can save in your phone, in your gallery, important maps that you are supposed to revise on a daily basis. And what you can actually do when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you do, if you have somebody close to you who is preparing, then maybe you can ask them to ask you questions from mapping area, right? Or the second thing that you can do, just scroll through all the maps that you have saved. I've shared about 138 maps, 120 or 138 maps, more than that I think. Maybe it can be close to 170 as well, because there are more maps in some posts on the ABCD channel. I take good care of like what maps can be important, so you can like download the maps from there also. In the mapping, in the 10,000 questions program also, you must have seen many questions from mapping. From there you must have developed some common sense. So mapping, do it every day, at least do it for 10 minutes, do it for 15 minutes. Whenever you feel like taking a break, just open up the atlas and look at everything that is there in the atlas, beginning from the India's political map. Every chapter, every page of the atlas is very important. So try and develop that understanding. As I said in the previous sessions, that particularly from mapping, there are certain themes which are extremely important. uh, India's political mapping is extremely important. You should know India's political map. You should have a good pictorial memory. The way they asked an interlinked question in CDS paper, where they given that if you are in Delhi, then which of the following World Heritage sites you can visit. So something on those lines can be asked in UPSC prelims as well. So you should have an interlinking of topics that can only be done when I have a pictorial memory of India's map. So the political mapping, and as I said in the previous sessions as well, that areas in conflict, generally people do not mark this question correct. Wherever there is conflict in this world, because this exam is also for the Indian Foreign Service, and United Nations and everybody talks about these regions in conflict. They, as nations, they give you leverage, they give you opportunity to show leadership, they give you opportunity to extract resources. For example, how like US is done and how China is doing in Congo these days. So all these regions which are in conflict, there are two ways of covering them. You can check them on the ABCD channel, and particularly they ask about regions. So when they will ask something about, say, the Eritrea conflict, so or maybe the Sudan conflict, they will ask about different regions, such as the Darfur region in Sudan. It will become more important than the whole of Sudan. There is something going on in Sudan right now. So just the regions of conflict, there are not like not a lot of regions. You can just Google this particular thing. That's what I do. Regions in conflict in the world, and you read one or two articles like which are the regions which are in conflict. Last year they asked a question from BDBD. Before that they asked a question from Afghanistan. There was some highway called Garland something. I'm forgetting it. So they asked it one question from there. This year maybe they can ask a question from Nagorno Karabakh, or from the conflict in Yemen, or Eritrea, or Mali, Western Sahel, or Niger, Nigeria, Eritrea, Djibouti, all these places, there are good conflicts, good amount of conflicts going on, really high yield materials. So focus on them. Thirdly, so everything that is related to water in the world, so be it ocean currents, be it your lakes, be it your rivers, world rivers, important rivers, these are extremely important, as I said in the previous sessions as well. From India, they used to ask questions related to lakes, related to rivers, then they changed it to lakes. They have been constantly asking questions from lakes now for 3 years now, so maybe that can repeat, but the rivers are extremely important still. So all the lakes that are there, all kinds of lakes, so be it Ramsar sites, non-Ramsar sites. So there are maps posted about all the lakes that are there on the ABCD channel. So you can just see those maps, right? So there are different themes that you can cover from the mapping area. Now comes the newspaper. I talked about it, and now like on a daily basis. So as I said that for 10 to 15 minutes you are supposed to do your mapping. For 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how quick you are in terms of reading, you can cover your newspaper, at least till, like I say that you should do it on 22nd or 23rd of May. But you can if you feel that I'm very underconfident, you can leave it on 18th of May, maybe that is the last, because 10 days prior to the exam they've asked questions. I've seen that. So not before like 18th you should leave the newspaper. And they ask just questions from the headlines, so do not worry about going into deep into the question, deep into the articles, etc. uh, Now on, so that you can do for 20 to 40 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes you can do your mapping. And the things that I do not know that you have prepared, those are going to be really handy. You can give 2 hours for them on a daily basis just to revise them. You can give 2 hours. If you feel like, you can give 2.5 hours. So anything between 1 hour to 2.5 hours you can give to revise what you have prepared as things that you did not know, and you are supposed to revise them now. And if some of you have prepared the other copy as well, which is things that I know now, then you should revise them as quickly as possible on a daily basis. That you are supposed to do on a daily basis: mapping, newspaper, things that I do not know, and current affairs videos. As I said, that the Byju's videos that are provided, they will orient you, and those are not very factual. That's why I recommend them. There are many people who do current affairs videos. Sudarshan Loda, I think he does that. There are others who do current affairs videos, but they focus a lot on facts. While the Byju's videos I found really handy because they focus on concepts that are going on and issues that are going on. So that will not put a lot of strain on your mind. First of all, that you need to remember all those facts, because facts are not coming in the exam. It is the issues and mapping and newspaper headlines that are coming. So you can like watch those Byju's videos, particularly when you are doing something which is irrelevant, such as brushing your teeth, such as eating your food. You can watch those videos on 2x just to familiarize what is going on in the world in the last 1 year. That is the only purpose of those videos, so you do not feel left out. Other than that, in the 10,000 questions program, in the last 11 months in particular, we have tried covering whatever was there in the newspaper of value. So that will help you. So this is it from my side, I would say. So this is it, I think. So if anybody has questions related to anything that I said, or yes, Anushka, you can. Uh, Anushka, yes. Anushka, you can unmute yourself. You raise your hands now. Nishtha, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, I'm audible, sir.
Yes, you are.
Uh, yeah, I just wanted to ask about art and culture. Actually, I joined the program late, so my full length test, sectional test, I complete in full length. Just
Mm-hmm.
art and culture is left, and all the full length, full syllabus tests are left.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also my static revision of notes is also left for polity. So I'm just a bit confused. Can I skip that art and culture portion, or
No,
because I have very less
don't
time?
skip the art and culture portion in particular. That is very high yield. I would recommend that you can skip polity maybe, but not the art and culture part. You must do it. That is very high in nature, because like art and culture, there is a 5 to 6 questions there, and particularly those are important because that eliminates competition, because others are not doing it, so you should be doing them. Try doing
Okay, sir. Okay.
the art and culture portion. You can skip polity in other parts if you want to, because polity you already read in the so that you can skip, but
Okay, sir.
there are not many left also from art and culture. You can finish them.
And sir, like you suggested to do 10 years CSAT questions also, CSAT papers. So for the suppose for from 10 to 18, we are doing in the morning slot we are doing that GS paper,
Hmm.
and then from 2:30 to 4:30 CSAT. So how should we divide our day in those days for in which we are doing CSAT also?
So
Can you just
generally, the idea is you should not be giving too much of time on CSAT, because if you give too much time on CSAT, then like you will not have enough time for revision. So I would recommend that you should be doing at least like just 2 or 3 full length tests for CSAT, just the PYQs.
okay?
You can just do them.
Okay, sir.
A couple of things that I missed, I will just include those things in the session. One was after 18th of May, every day you should pick the test of the exam of 2013. Even if you have seen those questions a million times, doesn't really matter. Just do those questions for 1.5 hours and just check the answers and feel good about it, and then conclude your routine. So you should be doing your full length test till 18th, and from there onwards, every day on 19th you do 2013, on 20th you do 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. Try eliminating the video that I shared. That is the only good video regarding tricks and tips and everything, which is prepared by this guy called Hardworking Human. Lot of admiration for him. You can, I don't know him personally. He became an IS officer, cleared prelims several times, and he was the first guy to invent these things. And he has a latest video regarding how to eliminate and do questions. You can watch it, just 12 minutes, I think. It the video is, there are certain rules that you are supposed to follow. I think somebody posted the rules that he has created, 8 or 9 rules. You can have your own rules as well. Like I used to have some additional 4 or 5 rules apart from this, so those you must watch. And after 18th, every day, practice one full length paper and try and eliminate, because you will not be knowing the current affairs of 2015. There was a lot of current affairs back then, maybe 30 questions back then. So, but you try and eliminate based on those tricks and those methods, right? And one more thing that I wanted to include, I'm forgetting it. Like Piyush, you can ask your question maybe.
Sir, I'm audible.
Yes, you have.
Sir, I have quite a few doubts. Actually, they have been accumulated since
Hmm.
last month. I have
Hmm.
messaged you on CSE Topper helpline as well, but I didn't get any response from there.
Hmm.
So, sir, in particular regards to Indian geography, they have been asking some questions which are actually maybe not that high yield if I devote too much time. For example, uh, the rivers in particular, which are not like, for example, Brahmaputra river is done, Indus is done, and all the major rivers are done. However, some rivers related to which are currently in like the which flows from Odisha
Hmm.
and Indravati river and something like that on similar lines. So these rivers I'm not well versed with, and they have been asking questions related to it. So what I'm supposed to do?
So, see, there is a new trend, which is that they are asking questions because they have exhausted all the questions from all the major rivers now. So, all the smaller rivers flowing eastwards or westwards, they are asking questions from there. So, that is something that you need to do. Subarna Rekha, they asked the question about, but they will not be asking. I believe, if I need to put a bet on it, then they will not be asking questions from rivers such as Indravati and Bhima and all these rivers, but they will be definitely asking questions which forms deltas that are economically very important, such as the Pennar River they asked last year, the Gandikota Canyon question they asked, and some rivers which are there in Kerala flowing westwards, Mahi, Tapti, Narmada, all these rivers. So just the major rivers which have economic significance, you try and remember them. That is important, I would say. But
That
I don't think
Gandikota
they,
Canyon,
they are
the
going to ask
question
questions
was
from the bigger rivers.
okay. Sir, that Gandikota River was the current affairs of that year, or
See, it,
was
it
it
was
supposed
it
to be
was
that?
both. It was not actually a current affairs question. It was a question which was basically you guess it based on your knowledge of rocks. So canyons can only be formed when the river is flowing very slowly, and it can only be formed where there are like good amount of hard rocks present. So only Pennar River was like, you could have eliminated that based on your knowledge of geography. It was not a current affairs question
Okay,
in
okay.
particular. So that was a difficult question, but it could be eliminated based on your knowledge of geography, based on the knowledge of your rocks.
So I have two in particular more doubts. I have joined this course in November,
Hmm.
and in that time period, I was not well versed with ancient, medieval, or art and culture.
Hmm.
So what I did that I studied the questions from like which were usually posted on the group, and then I solved them and I made notes out of it. I
Hmm.
revised them regularly, but I'm not having that much amount of confidence and that much amount of hold over them right now.
So
So that
see,
confidence is missing. So I'm supposed to do them again, or like what I'm supposed to do?
you need to do them again. History in particular is a huge and humongous subject. Nobody can have confidence in history. I have history as an optional. I have topped all sorts of exams in history twice. I've been all India topper in JNU exam, which used to be in two different modes. But still, I don't feel confident in many of the parts of history, because history is humongous and huge. That is the problem with history. So that is just something that everybody feels. So, but the best you can do, you can just keep revising them, and you should be very much prepared just before prelims. Like that should be your best day of like memorizing all the facts that are there in history. So I would say that you can revise those things, and additionally, as I said, you can refer to the lucent summaries if you can do them. Like just the charts that are there, they can be useful.
I've done Lucent only. majorly loosened, like not
If you
only
have done
majorly
lucent,
loosened.
and if you can do the things that I do not know, I would say that you will not be, you will be in a very comfortable position. I would say you feel underconfident, you always feel underconfident in history, but that's the nature of the subject. Like, so
So
that.
last question, uh, like we are solving the PYQs right now, and also the FLTs have been posted, like 33 FLTs have been posted on fourth batch.
Mm-hmm.
So, sir, we have solved 17 FLTs till now.
Mm-hmm.
16 were the one जिसमें नंबर 90 to 100 की रेंज में थे. इनमें एक में 105 भी थे, बट उसके बाद FLT जो रिवीजन वाले थे उसमें सर ने बोला था दैट ट्राई वन एंड देन सी कितने मार्क्स आ रहे हैं.
Mm-hmm.
So in that I got a very healthy number. It was 145. So
Mm-hmm.
then afterwards I switched completely to the revision. For
Mm-hmm.
the 10 days I revised, and right now my FLTs are left, like 15 or 16 FLTs are left. So am I supposed to complete them all before the
You can
prelims, or
complete them. That will keep you in practice. I would say that you should complete them. Try doing it till 18th, maybe, because you have done a lot of questions till now. So maybe if you think, like, try doing them maybe one paper one day, and then you can give a break of one day. That you can experiment. Had I been in your place, I would have done one FLT every day at 9 in the morning.
is it a good strategy to do FLT one day and the PYQs the other day simultaneously? Like
That you
it
can
can be
do,
done.
but
Like,
I would say, just to be in the mode of the exam, you should do them just in the end. You should leave them just for the last 10 days, because then you feel that the questions are also fresh and you can practice your elimination.
okay, so that's all from my end. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, okay, Piyush. And sorry for the helpline thing. I think the message was not conveyed to me on time, and then when it was conveyed, it was too late, and then I thought that maybe
Completely
I'll
fine.
take
That's
over. So that was something that happened. Uh, I think Saurabh, Rishabh, and Anjali, all the Saurabh, just briefly, if you can ask your question, because time is very precious right now.
सर मेरे मॉक में स्टार्टिंग में 70 to 80 आ रहे थे, लेकिन अभी अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 90 के प्लस आ रहे हैं, 90 95, किसी में 85. सो भी है, मतलब 85 to 95. सो बहुत सारे जो माइनस में जा रहे हैं, तो मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? जो मतलब एक्चुअली प्रीलिम्स में क्या सारे जो 100 क्वेश्चन सारे को अटेम्प्ट करना चाहिए, या फिर
Yeah, देखो,
वो क्या करोगे
questions,
उससे?
when you practice, you should be attempting all the questions when you're practicing it. You should attempt 100 questions when you're doing your FLT, because you are not supposed to consider how many marks you're getting. That is not the main concern. So because of doing 100 questions, you can get less marks also. But in the main paper, you are supposed to do somewhere between 88 to 95, somewhere between 88 to less than 88. If you do, then you will put yourself in a difficult situation. If you are not one of those rare people who, but there are very less people like that, and I don't think that you are one of them. So, and like, I'm also not one of them. You need to do at least 88 questions and maybe 95 questions if you are aiming your forest exam. So out of like 1,000 people that wrote forest with me last year, I talked to like most of them, and we conducted a poll as well. So I think more than 900 out of those 1,000 people actually did more than 95 questions. So it obviously is a basic logical understanding that if you do more questions, then you will get more marks, and that you should practice also in your tests, so that will give you an idea. If some of you are doing somewhere between 75 to 85, then you should increase the number of questions that you're doing. If you are not one of those rare people, identify if you are that person who does 50, 75 questions and like all of them correct. I don't think the nature of exam in the last 3 4 years is such that you can attempt 78 or 75 and still get through it. It is really difficult to do it. That will be a very risky bet, I would say. Yes, Rishabh, you can ask.
Sir, good evening.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I'm yet to start with the FLTs.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the program late. I've done one whole revision of the syllabus, static,
Mm-hmm.
done, and current affairs I've touched. Things I do not know I've compiled, but I haven't gone through them. And so
You should keep
basic
you
issue
should
is FLTs and things I don't know.
you should keep revising them for a couple of hours, maybe for more than an hour, more than a couple of hours. The point is, if you have spent time on something, you should revise that content. If you do not revise it, there is no point in it. If you do questions, if you do 10,000 questions as well, if you are not able to revise it, you will not be remembering them. As like I
Okay.
think Piyush, I think Piyush is the name. uh, Piyush, yes, Piyush, as Piyush said that when he was doing the revision test, he was able to get more than 140. So that shows that he was able to, like, as he said that he has been revising, he was in touch as well. So he was revising. So because of that, the marks that you get increases. Still, he is not getting 200 out of 200. He's not getting somewhere like 170, even after like doing good number of revisions. So you need to revise your things that I do not know. Otherwise, the test that you have done, those will vanish. So there's like enough time now as well. You can like start revising them. And as you said that you're
So
not.
should I look at?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you were saying that you are not done your FLTs. So as I said, you should do your FLTs till 18th, and after that, uh, you need to move on and switch to like one full length UPSC PYQ paper every day.
Right. So is there a pattern to follow in FLTs, or should I go serial wise?
Like you can go serial wise, or you can skip a few tests, and so those are like the basic idea in the FLTs was to make you revise as well, like whatever was there, and also like whatever portions that are left, we should ask questions from them. That's why some of them are a little bit difficult, particularly the initial ones. So because we wanted to cover more topics, so that your coverage of the entire thing gets really better.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Anjali, what's you can.
So, hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
So
yes.
first is with revision. First is with revision. I have planned ki I will revise thrice, like till 12 or 13. I'm trying to complete my second revision. Then next is till 20.
Mm.
Then last week में जो भी रहेगा.
And that's great. I depends
Or
like.
should I go like और या फिर मैं 20 तक second revision रखूं या फिर कैसे करूं?
See, if you want to revise something like economy and geography, then you can revise them thrice or four times as well, because these are very short subjects. If you want to revise
Yes,
history thrice, that will be really difficult. If you want to revise
yes.
polity thrice, that will be difficult. But you can identify themes which you're not really good at, and you can revise them thrice, and not the whole book. So that you can do. You can, whenever you are starting a subject and you are trying to revise it, you want to revise it thrice, it will be, I think it will be difficult. You can do it, but not the whole book and whole static of every subject except economy and geography. So I would recommend that when you're doing your static subjects such as environment, history, polity, art and culture, ancient, medieval, then you should focus on basically subjects, things that you're not really good at. Yes.
Okay. So like till 20, so should I reduce my revision? Like till 20 I will revise my second revision and उसमें जो भी रहेगा कि I'm not able to recall उसको मैं ज़्यादा focus करूँ एंड के 4-5 दिनों में 16 to 20 के टाइम.
I would say that 20 will be too late. Maybe just
Okay.
try this particular method, uh, that you focus. So geography and economy, you can revise whole of them. So if you start your
Okay.
economy, there are like only like limited number of concepts. You can revise it four times, five times in one day also, if you have highlighted your book
Yes.
in a good way. uh,
Yes.
that can be done enough number of times. But regarding your polity and everything, there you should start with like only the important chapters. For example, you do the parliament chapter first, and you know those chapters which are important, and the chapters which you forget
Mm,
very often. So revisions, it depends on your
mm.
level of preparation also. It is really difficult to like understand some person, like how much revisions that person has done. Depends, like it really varies. But yes.
Okay. And for current affairs, जो आपने बायजूस की जो वीडियो बताई थी वही एंड जो और जो टेस्ट हैं आई एम रिलाइंग ऑन दैट सो
Yeah,
दैट
so
विल बी
that is
सफिशिएंट.
there, and as I said that I'll try and compile. I'm working. I'm trying my best to compile all those particular Indian Express headlines from certain areas, which have been like
Yes.
they ask questions from the headlines itself. Last year there were like
Mm.
20 questions and everything was from there. So I hope if it repeats,
Mm.
if they like skip it, that
Mm.
is a different thing. But generally, it has been happening for a couple of years now. So I'll provide that. I'll try my best to provide that particular compilation. It will be a shortest compilation, and that will help you to like revise all those things as well. And you can rely on those videos and the current affairs tests. That's for sure.
And with regard to mocks, sir, I've not done all the mocks, but those I've not done, I'm able. I'm trying to read the solutions कि जो मैं नहीं कर पाई हूँ solve. So how to go with this? कि जितने mocks रह गए हैं.
यार देखो, या तो आप solutions read मत करो. If you do not do questions, then solutions will not be that useful. This is what I have experienced. It might vary, but
Okay.
I don't. I personally do not believe that if you do solutions only, rather than doing solution, you
Uh,
should rather be focusing on your static. So questions should be done
okay.
in the format of questions only. If you want to like just revise the solutions and you want to just read the static, then you should do it from the basic books. That's
Okay.
what my recommendation would be.
Okay. So जो अभी टेस्ट रह गए हैं, so उनको फिर रहने दूँ अभी फिर.
मतलब आप कर सकते हो, मे बी one test a day, as I
Hmm.
said. Ideally you should be doing one
Hmm.
a day because practice is very important. If you do practice at 9
Yes.
a.m. every day,
Hmm.
so that will
Hmm.
immensely help you. You will see it on the day of paper, that if you're doing
Okay.
like questions, so that will help you. So try it. Maybe
And
if you think that
hmm.
you're lacking a lot in terms of revision of your static, then maybe one
Hmm.
test a day and then skip for one day and then one more test the next day. So that way you can do it till 18th, I believe.
Okay.
There is no
Okay.
one
That's
bad way about it, but the basic idea is that obviously you should revise your static more often, but the time that you spend in doing your mock is not a time wasted. It is very useful. Our
yes.
mind says that I'm supposed to read more, but the basic
Yes.
crux of the matter is when you practice more, it will give you that frame of mind, and that is extremely important if you practice more questions. So try like practicing it, although your mind will always say find it counterintuitive, but you should do that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Uma, you can like unmute. And guys, if you do not have questions to ask, then you can go back and study, because this is a really crucial time. You should be putting like as many hours as you can. Uh, that's the toughest competition that you will ever see. So just you can leave if you do not have like questions to ask, etc. Yes, Uma, you can ask.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I have a question related to regarding with the art and culture and ancient and medieval. As
Mhm.
art and culture, I covered with the sectional test which you provided,
Mhm.
and with the medieval and the ancient, I just read NCRT for 2 times, and after that, I just solved the sectional test.
Yes.
So, should I rely only on that, which I revising from
So
the
whatever you have done till now,
last days?
whatever you have done till now, for example, you've done your new NCRTs, I suppose, and the tests, and then just rely on them. Apart from that, as I said, that you should focus on the tables in Lucent. Those are extremely important. The tables in Lucent, the Lucent book in the PDF format has been posted on the group as well, so that you can do. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, Rishabh, you want to ask something?
So one last thing I want to ask you, I am spending a lot of time studying 15 hours, 18 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been going on since 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be an instance of burnout or should I keep continuing because नींद आती नहीं है?
नहीं नहीं नहीं, नींद लेनी है भाई इस टाइम पर. जस्ट यूटिलाइज इट. नहीं होगा बर्नआउट बिल्कुल भी. ऐसा सब लोग करते हैं. एंड लाइक पीपल कीप स्टडिंग एंड पीपल स्टडी फॉर 15 आवर्स एज वेल. अभी इस टाइम पे बर्नआउट नहीं होगा, ऐसा मेरे को लगता है. इफ यू आर वेरी मच पैशनेट अबाउट दिस एग्जाम, अभी कितना भी पढ़ लो, कोई कोई कम नहीं, कुछ कम नहीं है. एंड यू शुड स्लीप बिकॉज यू एग्जॉस्टेड योर ब्रेन. ये इस तरह की सिचुएशन होनी चाहिए अभी इस टाइम पे. तो आराम से आप मतलब यू कैन एक्चुअली read for as many hours as possible. There will not be a burnout.
Got it.
That's what I believe. मतलब मेरे को तो नहीं होता था इस टाइम पे. I'm like I have always been surrounded by a lot of people who have prepared with me, uh, because I used to study in these when I was in JNU, I used to study in the Central Library, and there were like 100 people studying. So I am not seen like people who are really focused and people who are really like passionate about this exam. They do not burn out in the end, and this also happens just before mains. In the first 2 months, it doesn't really happen. If you may burn out after one test which goes bad, but in the last month, you don't burn out.
Thanks, sir.
Keep going with 15 hours if you can. Just keep slogging, and like eventually hard work is extremely important. The smart work you do when you're doing your FLTs, and that you do, and you develop your common sense, and maybe you will learn from the hardworking human video, and that you can apply and practice, and then it will be useful, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So eventually, guys, whoever is left, I would say, yes, Uma, you have one more question, I suppose. So, guys, I would say time is precious. If you have anything, I will try and be available on the helpline, through the helpline. So, thank you so much.